Morning, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to Love 500 and welcome back to probably a one-off video on a new car. This is a car you've seen before. If you follow me on Instagram, if you don't, why not? Love 500 Salvage, you would have seen a picture of this car on Instagram last week sometime, I think it was. I've picked it up this morning. Let's show you what we've got and we'll have a little walk around. You've seen it before, but we'll have a walk around and I'll explain to you what happened and how we got this car. Let's go. Morning, I am on my way to BCA in Crawley in Sussex to pick up a new project. Now this is a project you may be familiar with. I'll show you why later on in the video, but yeah, I'll give you some more information as we get closer. I'm currently on a bus to Croydon to get a train to Crawley, and then I don't know whether I'm going to get another bus or whether I'm going to get a cab. We'll see when we get there.
119.
Yeah, I will see.
Croydon Colonnades, Croydon Airport.
I'll speak to you when we get closer. Buses have sunroofs. That's different.
Platform 6 for the 0936 Thameslink service to Three Bridges via Redhill, Croydon, South Croydon, Surrey, Redhill, Wellesley, Salford, Croydon, Gatwick Airport, and Three Bridges. This train is calling from Wellesley. Musical platform, passengers for South Croydon and Salford.
Wow, this is a tiny site. Smallest BCA I've ever seen. Let's go and get the car. So, you haven't seen it yet. Well, you have. You might have seen it in the picture. So let me explain. So this car is a former project, and I had a message from one of the subscribers, sent me a message on Instagram and said, with a link, saying, have you seen this? This is one of your old projects, stolen recovered. You can see it in the picture. I just realised I've got my glasses that go dark and I can't see the screen very well, so you'll have to forgive me for seeing obvious things in the picture, in the film there somewhere. So I'm not going to waffle on about it for too much. This is the automatic 64 plate Lounge, which is the mint one, and if you remember, if you don't, I will put a link to it in the description, and we will link to it at the end of the project. This is what we called Project Tooo Minty, because it was the second mint one I've had. This one being a stolen recovered with no damage. All it had, and I'll stick a picture up now for you on the screen so you can see it. It had a smashed window and obviously the usual thing with the ignition. Repaired that on day one, and then there was just a few little things that we had to do on the car just to get it up to standard, as we always do. Had it MOT'd, and the MOT brought up bottom arms. And the bottom arms were both done by me after. Brake discs were shot before the MOT, so I changed the brake discs, and if you remember, I sheared one of the bolts when I was putting it back on. I got Glenn the mechanic down to do that, to fix that for me. And then it had a top mount problem on the passenger side. He also changed that for me as well while he was here. So it had a 4 years ticket in October, which is when I sold it. And the story is, let's show you the car first, then we'll go over the story. I may have told you this before. I cannot remember whether I did or not. I'm not sure. I think I may have covered it at some point. But let me just explain to you, show you the car rather, just to jog your memory, here it is. Project Tooo Minty, which is a 64 plate, as I said, 2014. Pre-facelift. So we've got the nicer seats, we've got the nicer wheels, we've got the updated vertical engine ECU. They usually have ASR, yeah. So they've got traction control as well. And I think they've got tyre pressure sensors. Now, we had issues with tyres on this car. So if you remember, one of the other things I did on this car, 4 new tyres. And when I first got the car, I discovered that one of the wheel bolts wouldn't do up properly. I'd completely forgotten about that, and when I had the new tyres put on, I could see the fellas struggling with getting one done up, and then it dawned on me, oh, I hadn't done that. I put a new hub on it. Struggled doing that. Called Glenn. He told me how to do it. Suggested I'd use the copper hammer, and I didn't have a copper hammer. Managed to get it done, and then Terry at JT500_salvage, who I know some of you now follow, he very kindly sent me an old copper hammer, which I haven't actually used yet, but it has, you know, it's there for when I need to do something like that again. So basically, to get the drive shaft out, you have to whack it with a hammer, a copper hammer. So that was done. As I say, top mount was done, etc, etc. Now, with the car, we have the manuals, which obviously I supplied. We've got the service history, which I supplied. And of course, we've got the logbook there, including a nice spare key that I produced. Let me just get in the car and we'll explain to you what the situation was with it. Right, so if you recall, this was the car that I sold, this was the car that I sold to a young lady called Poppy. And Poppy is a sixth former, a localish school over in the area where the mums group is. I always advertise them. And I got a call from her in panic. She'd gone to school, she'd gone to go out at lunchtime, and the car wouldn't start. It was all lit up, no power, couldn't get it to start. I went over there, I drove over there, and it turned out, there is a video on this, but it turned out I managed to get it home by getting it a local car transporter company, which cost me, I think it was 80 quid, 70 quid, 80 quid to get it home. And it was, as I suspected, the earth strap had snapped. So we had no earth. Put a new earth strap on it, fired into life. She came and picked it up later that day, job done, job's a good one. Now, forgive me if I've told you all this before, I think I have, but I'm going to go through it because this is a separate video on this car. I'm just going to briefly go through it again. So, Poppy lives in an area where the car was registered to, quite a nice area. Her dad lives in not quite a nice area. She insured the car to where she lives, which I think is her mum's address. And soon after she bought it, she's got a telematics box in the car, which is still there, which I shall be ripping out and stamping on shortly. You'll understand why, if you don't already know, if you may already recall, as I say. So a week or a couple of weeks or so after she bought the car, she went on holiday for 2 weeks with her dad, and she left the car at her dad's in the not so nice area. When she got back from holiday, she had contact from the insurance company, basically calling her a liar and saying that she didn't live where she said she lived. She lived here because her car spends all the time there. So before that, she obviously spends some time with her dad as well, although she doesn't live with him. And they basically told her, I can't remember what the figure was now, it was something like £3,000 they wanted. I can't remember exactly what it was, but they said they're going to, unless she pays them £3,000, they're going to cancel her policy. So her dad rang me, explained what had happened, and said, we just can't have the car, we can't afford to spend £3,000 on insurance. You know, any chance you could buy it back? And, you know, at the time I thought to myself, well, you know, I could sell it like that. And I said, I haven't got the money to buy it. I'd already bought another 1 or 2 projects anyway, so I didn't have the space for it. And I said, look, I'm sorry, but I just can't. And I said to him, stick it on the mums group where I sell it. I said, there's people on there that are crying out for automatics. You'll sell it, no problem. A couple of days later, I saw the ad go up there. I said, one of Paul's cars. I sold it to them for 5,500. And I said to him, look, that was cheap. I said, you might get a bit more for it. Now, he put it up for 6 grand. And I did get a message from one person who obviously had seen my ads before. So contacted me and said, I understand this is one of your cars. Can you tell me about it? So I said, it's had new tyres, it's got new MOT, it's done this, it's done that. It's a lovely car. Assuming that someone had bought it. Then I get this message So this was back in October, November time. I sold it in October, so it was around sort of mid-November, something like that. Now being May, it being May the following year now. And I got a message on Instagram from a subscriber last week telling me, say, this is your old stolen recovered car. I looked at it, oh my God, yes it is. I thought, I've got to have it. And I thought, why? Why? And I could see it had gone through We Buy Any Car, and I thought, surely she hasn't sold it through We Buy Any Car. She would have got stitched up big time. So I thought, you know what, I've got nothing to lose, I'm going to drop her a message. So I sent her a message, and I asked her, and she said, yeah, she didn't tell me how much she got for it. She said, but we lost quite a lot of money. We tried to sell it. We tried to sell it on Facebook. Then we put it on Marketplace and places like that. She said we couldn't sell it, which I really don't understand why. Makes no sense whatsoever. So she sold it through We Buy Any Car, and I bought it back from We Buy Any Car. Now, I bought it for the hammer price was £3,300. Bearing in mind, I can't remember what I actually originally paid for it, but I've obviously repaired it, spent money on it, MOTs, tyres, and so on and so on. I think I made about 1,600 quid on it, I think, when I said it was really good profit, being an automatic, obviously premium price. So I sold it to them for 5.5. She tried to sell it for 6. How much she got for it, I don't know, but I bought it back from BCA. Obviously, as we know, they have We Buy Any Car cars. Now, the listing did say suspension problem. Now, I thought, well, it didn't have a suspension problem when I sold it. So I messaged her and I said, did you have any suspension issues? She said no. So I thought, that's strange. And then I looked up the MOT history, and the MOT history showed advisories of the bottom arms, which I did after the MOT. So it's got new bottom arms on it. And I said, that's a bit strange. And I spoke to Alex at Car Salvage 101. And I said to him, I've never known BCA, because he buys quite a lot of cars from BCA. And I said to him, I've never known them, put something in the description on BCA that says there's suspension problems, taking something from the MOT. But it appears that they did. Yeah, so we just got the service history, which is all stamped up, several services, plus a Love 500 service one from me. Cam belt was done on this as well, not by me, but it was already done, so we didn't need to do that. It's 66,000 miles. Let me just switch it on. Where's the keys? Got me here somewhere. Oh, steering lock's on, hang on. Right, steering lock wasn't on, I was using the wrong key. Yeah, 66,696 miles. I don't think it's done very few miles since I sold it. I'll have to look back and see what it was when I sold it. But yeah, it's all, as I say, it's all clean in here. We need to rip that damn thing off. But we got the full book pack, obviously, all the MOTs, everything. So, and 2 keys, of course, which is always good with BCA because you always get those. Aircon works. I used it on the way back because it was quite warm. The seats are all really clean because it's barely been used. So, obviously they were cleaned when I did it originally, but they won't be getting cleaned again for obvious reasons. Let's go out and show you. So I'm going to give it a wash in a minute, but a bit of bird poo there, but there's no marks on it at all. It's really, really clean. And obviously any marks that were on it, I cleaned up. Oh, that's right, there was a tiny one on there. Tiny little one there, which we'll touch up. Don't remember that being there before. We'll touch that one up. This has had a new door or something in the past. It's had something done on it because that door is very slightly lighter than the rear quarter. I'm sure we realised that before. And there's the usual bumper thing as well, where the bumper's a slightly different colour. But again, we didn't replace any panels. This wasn't a crashed car. This was a stolen recovered car. So, but it is registered as a Cat N. Here we go. We got this little ripple here in the wing, which I might try and do something with. But I did reduce it before. BCA obviously pointed it out. But yeah, there's nothing really to show you. It's all good. It's all good. Yeah, there's no marks on it at all, apart from that little one there. And that little one on the door. So it's a lovely, lovely car. Now I already have someone interested. Someone, I think the most recent car I sold, which was the Sport, when I advertised that, someone messaged me and said that, can you bear me in mind for automatics? Now I did have a book with all the people that wanted cars, and I can't find it because some of those were ones people who wanted automatic. But I've messaged this woman a couple of days ago and said, you're still looking for an automatic. She only messaged me about 3-4 weeks ago. So she said, oh yes, we do. Have you got one coming in? So I gave her a brief explanation and said basically the car's just going to need a wash and it's ready. So I've got to send her some more pictures of it, which I'll do once I've cleaned it. But yeah, so let me know what you think. Do you think I should give the girl some money? Even if it's 100 quid, what do you think? Just as a little bit of compensation for her, because she lost some money on this car. I just don't know what to do. But yeah, it's a lovely little car, so that's it. So we'll come back on this video. I was just in the boot and I found that. And that looks like a bonnet stay. But this car has got a bonnet stay on it. And this is different. It's not off one of these. As you can see. That's not off of a Fiat 500. It's different. Yeah. Where the hell's that come from? Why on earth would that end up in the boot of this car? How strange. It's all clean now. I know it's still the same day as before. Obviously it's not the week during the week yet, but I've given it a good clean, and I've cleaned the wheels as well. Got them nice and sparkly. Right, you saw in the other car that I bought a CD slot mount to go in here. We're in the mint green car at the moment, the automatic, the Tooo Minty 2. I spoke to Alex at Car Salvage 101, and he said he asked me what it was like, and I said about it being a little bit on. Well, I haven't driven the car yet, but I think it's going to be a bit on the bouncy side. And he said about getting an iPad one, thinking that something that is going to be supporting something bigger might be stronger. And I ummed and ahed, and I found this one on Amazon. Now this was about 25 quid, so it's quite expensive. When you think I think they're £38 at the moment. The price seems to fluctuate up and down, but they're 38 quid, and that I think was 25, 26 quid. So it pushes the price up. And I know some of you don't like these things and say don't waste your money and don't waste your time and so on. Take it from me, I know that this is a massive selling point. I mean, I would sell the cars anyway without that. I've not had any trouble selling the cars in the past. But it is a massive selling point. Every one I've sold, it has been a massive selling point. So trust me, it is worth it. And I like to try and modernise the cars a little bit. If people don't like them, they can take them out. But I love them, and I think it's worth spending the money. So I bought this one. I've taken it out of the box and had a look at it. It is a lot more substantial than the phone one. So I'm hoping it might be more. So we have to hope that the ball's the same size as well. So as you can see, quite a substantial bit that is. And then we got the bit that we want, which is that. And then the good thing about this is when it's in there, it actually point the camera at Paul. It'll actually move up and down. So if I just sort of can't actually do it, so you can see, look. Oh, point the camera. It actually moves up and down, so you can adjust it how you want. Now I don't know whether you'd want to use it that way. Maybe. Keep pointing the camera downwards. I don't know whether you want to do it that, but we will try it that way as well, see how it looks. But this is a lot more substantial. So let's set it up and we'll give it a go and see what it's like. It's the only piece from the actual what comes with the stereo that we need. So that comes in the same bag as the cables. So that's the only bit. So that bit is the bit that clips onto the actual back of the stereo, and there we can see the ball goes into there. So let's try it. Now, I don't think that way is any good. Because for one, it gets in the way of the indicator. It's quite good that it slides up and down, although I can't do it. It's quite difficult to get on one-handed. They're quite tricky to get on. And also that presses up against the hazard light switch, so that's going to be in the way of that. So that doesn't work, so we'll have to put it up the other way. Let's try that. Right, there you go. So you could hire it. That's as low as it'll go. So the telescopic part of it doesn't matter. So that, if you're sitting in the seat here, you can almost see the dash. So that does get in the way less. You can literally, that does, well, the way, I mean, I know I'm 6 foot, but the way I'm sitting here, for my eyesight, that is not covering the dash, or sorry, that is not covering the windscreen whatsoever. So that's not in the way. Now, if you could get one that was slightly shorter, it might be better to bring it down. Now, you are still getting your, there's more of your air vents, and obviously you can get to your stereo perfectly as well. And that is definitely, although it still wobbles a bit. I mean, I think it's always going to, but we need to see how much it wobbles when you're driving along, really. But I think from the point of how it fits, I think it's better. Let me. I'm just going to plug it in, and we'll fire it up and try it. Yeah, see, it is still going to bounce a little bit. I think that's just the nature, because you know, if you move it, you can see that it's moving within the slide mount, within the slot mount rather. So it is going to be the same, but it is just a little bit more robust. Is there any point in? I don't know. I prefer it on the dash myself. I much prefer it on the dash. So no, I don't know. I can't decide what to do with them. Whether to just leave it as it is, up on the dash, or put it in there. What do you think? And as I say, I know a lot of you don't like them anyway, but I do, and so do my customers who buy the cars. But for those of you who do like them, and I know some of you have bought them as well, let me know what you think. Is it worth spending that extra money on a mount like that? Or should we just stick to the other mount, which might be a bit too wobbly? But as I say, we do need to try. Or do we just stick it on the dashboard where we know it doesn't wobble? But some of you say it blocks the dash, which I don't feel it does anyway. But definitely, with the MOT, it would have to come off of that dash, I think. I'm pretty certain it would need to. I don't think they would like it. But let me know what you think. I don't want to go into too much detail on this, but I want to be able to show you and let you and get your opinion of you know, whether you think I should use this, the cheaper one, or just stick it on the dash like normal. Let me know. Right, we're done. This one's ready to go as well now. It didn't take long, did it? So I've just run the cable for the stereo. I made a decision on these. So I've been out in the blue car this afternoon and came to the conclusion that the phone one doesn't bounce around too much. But what I'm going to do, I'm sending that one back, the one that I had in here, the tablet mount, because it's 26 quid and it just seems a bit over the top. So and it's still going to wobble a bit and it's just a bit cumbersome. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to order another phone one for here, and I'm going to put it in here, and then I'm going to say to the buyer, in the box you've got a mount that will sit up there. If you want to mount it up there, that to me would be a better place, but it's entirely up to you on how you mount it. This will reach regardless of how you plug it in, and then they can make the decision. And then I'll say to them, you know, if you do mount it up there, you might have to take it off for the MOT in a year's time, or for this one, October. This one runs out in October. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to go and order one on Amazon. I've already messaged the lady saying that it was going to be done this week. I think her daughter's on holiday until next week, and obviously it's for her daughter, so her daughter wants to have a drive. So I think they're going to come around next Wednesday. But she said if it's ready sooner, let me know and I'll come around and have a gander at it myself. So I'll send her a message in a minute and tell her it's done. So a few days have passed since that last little bit of video. So I did say to you this wasn't going to be a very long video, and the car was already sold. As you know, I've got loads of people in a line of people waiting for automatics, and I don't generally get them. So this lady was the first in the queue. Her 21-year-old daughter, who's currently got a Mini, an old Mini, which is falling apart. Not worth putting through the next MOT. She's not quite up to a year's no claim, so she's got to have insurance going on both cars, unfortunately. For another couple of months, but her Mini is costing her £30 a month in road tax. That car's £35 a year, so she's going to save that money straight away. So yeah, she was very pleased with the car. I had a couple of messages when she got home, technical issues that she was, because I explained to her how you drive it, because you know it's a Dualogic, it's not a standard automatic, so your driving style is different, and the way you put the gear stick into auto or click it over again for manual, and I think she drove home in manual mode but didn't change gear, so I think she's driven all the way home in first gear. But obviously I told her make sure it's in auto mode, it says it on the dash, and she hasn't come back to me, so I'm assuming that's the reason. she took it for a test drive where she drove it and it was absolutely fine, and I've driven it, it's fine. So I think it was just a technical issue. She'll soon get used to it. I think that's the thing about the Dualogic. They do take a little bit of getting used to. So, car's sold. Went a few days ago. Just wanted to wrap this video up so we can upload the video. Very quick, one video, more projects to come. There might be one just here. Actually, probably when you've seen this video, you probably already know about this. So I won't show it to you, but there's a new project. So we have got still the Red Sport. For those of you who don't know, the Red Sport is still work in progress. As you know, or some of you will know, some of you realise, some of you didn't, I accidentally deleted last Sunday's file, which was day 2. It was up for about half an hour, and I was doing a bit of housekeeping. So basically, when I upload videos, if I view them, if there's anything I want to edit in or edit out or whatever, I redo that. I then view it to make sure it's all okay. Then I delete the files. It was uploaded, all files were deleted, and I'm doing my housekeeping. So when I re-upload, you don't sort of just replace the file, you have to completely re-upload from scratch. So they're both there. And I was going through deleting a few, and I accidentally deleted it, and it can't be undone, unfortunately. There's no Command Z, you can't undo it. So yeah, gone. However, I did find some of the files that were sitting in the bin on my computer, which I've managed to get out, bits and pieces. So I'm trying to put the video back together. So day 2 will be coming up again, but edited, and some bits are in, some bits are out, and so on. We're still carrying on with the car. The chassis leg is done. The front of the car is on, but you'll be seeing that in the coming, I was going to say weeks probably, because we've got other things on the go as well. So we're probably putting that on the back burner again for a little while. So I've got a new project here, which I'm just about to do the walk around for. We've got the grey colour therapy, which is over at my sister-in-law's, which I was going to go and get this week and make a start on it. But now we've got this one here. You're going to like this. Yeah, we won't do that for the time being. So I'm going to wrap this up now. Car's sold, same price I sold it for before. Got to do it, haven't you? Hiya. Just waving to my neighbour. That was the buyer of Rob and Viv. She's just walked past, and I thought she's going to see me standing there. She was walking past there, and I'm standing there pointing a camera at my face, so she knows what I do anyway. But yeah, anyway, where was I? So yeah, forgotten what I was saying. I lost my thread now. So yeah, sold it for the same price. I still don't know whether to give the Poppy, who bought the car originally, whether to give her a couple of £100 or not. Let me know what you think. I'm really not sure. I feel a bit guilty because I bought it back cheap and sold it for the same price I sold it to her for a few months down the line. So let me know what you think. I'm happy to give her a couple of £100 if you agree with me. And I know some of you will, some of you won't. Some of you will say you're not a charity. Let me know what you think. I might give her a couple of £100. But that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. As always, if you're not a subscriber, hit the subscribe button, give us a thumbs up. Until the next one, take care, stay safe, and we'll see you soon.